Subscribe to my YouTube channel at Annkio Briggs for notifications and updates. Also follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, all at Annkio Briggs. The first issue that I want to address is the issue of where we are today in Nigeria. There is so much. When I look at the headlines, some of them are not true, obviously, but there are some of them that are true. And when I look at some of the headlines as they come up on the TV stations in the mornings that I monitor, and the newspapers, I'm horrified. And to hear sometimes the politicians, especially from the Abuja level, especially the people in power, especially the people who believe that Nigeria belongs to them, and that some of us after them, that there is really nothing else in Nigeria. When some statements like the North will hold on to power forever comes up, or okay, power can go to the South, when those type of statements come along, I'm absolutely amazed that our people, I'm talking about the people of, first of all, what is recognized as Southern Nigeria, and then what is recognized as Niger Delta, as Southwest, which is made up of all Yoruba people, Southeast, which is made up of Igbo people, and then the Southeast and or the Niger Delta. I prefer to call it the Niger Delta, and I've actually reactivated for myself the fact that there is such an acronym called Briggs, which is all the first alphabets of the states that make up the Niger Delta region, which is Briggs. B for Bayelsa, R for Rivers, A for Akwa Ibom, C for Cross River, E for Edo, and D for Delta State. So now we have to continuously ask ourselves as a people and answer this question. I mean, do we accept that somehow, by the way the government is run in Nigeria, especially since 2015, are we accepting, or are we believing that we the other ethnic nationalities, that we somehow, and Christians somehow, are not quite Nigerians, or that we are not Nigerians at all? Because I raised the question, I think a couple of weeks ago, and I received quite a few messages and some calls that they had not looked at what I said in that manner. Now, what did I say? I asked a question that when the British were still in Nigeria, as far back as when they created the Northern and Southern Protectorate, and as far back as when they amalgamated in 1914, why did they not, when they created the North, when they created geographically the North, and then they as governments within that time, and the West and the East, why did they not create South? Because in any country, geographically, there is North, South, East, and West. So why was there North, was there East, and was there West, and there was no Southern Nigeria? And so it takes me back to then asking the question that, do we therefore, as a people of the Niger Delta, are we afraid to be human beings? Are we afraid to be human beings? Because up till today, you hear people say there are 3 major ethnic nationalities in Nigeria. Our money is created along that, designed rather, along that, that area, along the area of 3 major ethnic nationalities. And I wonder, because the so-called 3 ethnic nationalities is Hausa, is at that time, now we know better about we know now about the Fulani, we know now about how they migrated to Nigeria and settled in the northern part, and therefore took over the land and the area from the people that own it, from the indigenous owners of this place. And then there are Yoruba people, and then there are Igbo people. Now, I ask myself, if we have north and east and west, what happened to south? What happened to south? You know, so this is where our problem started. And at that point, people like Harold, later Harold Dabapriye, and the other fighters and representatives of our people in the Delta area began to agitate for change. Now, so are we afraid to be Nigerians? Because, and this will bring us to some of the issues that are on ground today. It will take us straight to the 1999 Constitution. Now, the 1999 Constitution, even before that, the federal character was created. So what then is federal character? These are not topics that are strange. On this program, I have raised all of these issues in the past, but once in a while something happens to bring it up. And federal character is something that is very similar to what was created after the war for the youths. That is, when you finish university, you now do what they said is youth service, which in my opinion, actually, which may be a topic for another day, but for a very long time, I think as far back as maybe 2000, 2001, I have started saying that the issue of the National Youth Service Corps is unnecessary from my point of view, when I began to notice the abuse of the National Youth Corps Service. And anybody who have served knows that there is, and there will continue to be an abuse. Now, I want to bring the federal character, because the National Youth Corps Service was created before the federal the federal character, way before the federal character, because the National Youth Service was created just after the war. And the federal character was created by Act 34 of 1996. So, but they're supposed to more or less serve in a similar way to make sure that the federal character is to make sure that everybody is part of the system. And the youth service was created so that everybody will also feel that they are one people. Now, both have failed. Both the youth service and the federal character have failed. The youth service continued to serve the purpose of the people that created it for themselves. Youth service, even though everybody is supposed to do youth service. The beneficiaries of the youth service is not people from the Niger Delta area. People from the Niger Delta area go to the north, and by the time they return back to the Niger Delta, the jobs that they are supposed to have or to come back to have been filled and taken over by other people who came to do the youth service. So you find that in areas like the oil and gas areas, you will see that not a lot of Niger Delta people are there. As a matter of fact, if you go to Bonny, for instance, using LNG as a point, if you go to Bonny, you will find that most of the people that are working in LNG, not to talk of the oil companies, are definitely not from the Niger Delta. And when you find them at the Niger Delta level, they are not doing managerial work. They are doing very low jobs. And if you come to that, they are not even permanent staff. They are contract staff. So I then ask, are we therefore, as we allow these things to go on, are we actually accepting that we are afraid to claim our rights and to stand for our rights? And that is because I believe that is the mentality, and that's because for a very long time our politicians, the youths, the women, everybody have bought into the idea that it is one Nigeria, and therefore anything you say or do to highlight injustice, such as what we have endured since 2015, where everything about appointment at federal level, at custom, at police, at army, at air force, anything is going to a particular people from a particular area, of a particular ethnic group from that area, and of a particular religion. All right. So now we therefore have to accept that Nigeria, either Nigeria belongs to all of us, or that Nigeria belongs to just a particular people or a particular religion. Now, if you believe that the place Niger Delta, as it is today, have been manipulated with lies by liars, then you have to do something about it. You have to do something about it. And what do we have to do about it? We, the people of the Niger Delta area, of the 6 states of Bayelsa, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Edo, and Delta, that have ethnic nationalities in them: Isoko, Urobo, Ishekiri, Ikwere, Efik, Ibibio. In this area, the facts remains that these ethnic nationalities, Ogoni, in all the different states, are the people of the Niger Delta region. Now, let me also put something on the table here. When the NDDC was created by Obasanjo, the disadvantage that the wicked creation is what is also causing a lot of problem amongst us. What is that wicked creation? There was UMPA deck before NDDC. It was on hold. It was moribund. They didn't scrap it. It was moribund. Now, when Obasanjo came, and he came into a government that was facing agitation from the Niger Delta, particularly after the death of Ken Sarawiwa, and after the Ogoni people's situation, struggle for for their rights and for self-determination. Actually, Ogoni people are very strong, just like the Yorubas, on self-determination, just like the Ijaws on self-determination. Now, when the issue of the NDDC came up, and Obasanjo's government accepted and decided to create, all they needed to do was to fund Ompadek and change it in the areas that they wanted to change it. But because constantly our people of the oil producing states are never awake to the difference between politics and the difference between development, we were sidelined with the agreement or understanding of our people, or failure of our people to accept that Ompadek should be scrapped and that he should create Niger Delta Development Commission. Now, it is not a developmental commission. It is not. And until the law creating NDDC is changed, it remains an intervention agency. That is what NDDC is. But to create the sort of problem that is now amongst us in the oil producing areas is why it was named Niger Delta Development Commission. Because you cannot be in Southwest as a geopolitical zone and also be in the South as a geopolitical zone, or in the Niger Delta as oil producing. Now, if, for instance, oil is found in Sokoto, is Sokoto going to be part of the Niger Delta? Are they going to take Niger Delta to Sokoto, or are they going to bring Sokoto to Niger Delta? So you see what I mean. So it should have been, and this is something we must also think about, it should have been either remain as the Ompadek, the oil producing areas, or the name should have just been changed to states of oil producing, or oil producing states of Nigeria, or Ompadek, whatever. But this name, Niger Delta Development Commission, was thrown in there wickedly, and we are seeing the wickedness, because now everything is messed up. Okay, so whether anybody likes it or they don't like it, we are a people of the 6 states of a particular geographical area. Ain't nothing is going to change that. Nothing whatsoever is going to change that. Okay, so this is something I want to throw out, that our people, our youths, should begin to think about. Now, the issue of how black people, or how Niger Delta people ended up as slaves by slave traders did not start in southern Nigeria. Actually, it started before, way before it got to the south. It started up before Nigeria was created. It started, there was the Sahara slave trade going on way before it came. These are historical facts, and until the youths of today understand their history, they will always be misled, and there is a lot of misleading going on. So if Nigeria was before the first coup and before River State was created and Midwest was created and divided, does that mean that the people who are who are identified as Northerners today Are they disagreeing with the people who are today identifying themselves as Middle Belt people? Because there are ethnic nationalities and mainly Christians in that area that do not see themselves, are not actually, it's not even a matter of seeing themselves, they belong to different ethnic nationalities. So the problem of Nigeria is the issue that there are over 350 ethnic nationalities that have a different culture to their neighbors, that speak different languages. If I don't speak the same language as you do, we're not the same people. Please, we're not the same people. It's like saying a goat and a dog are the same. It's like saying a ram and a goat are the same. They are not the same. One is a goat, the other is a ram, the other is a cow, the other is an elephant, and so on and so forth. But in terms of wild animals, the lion is in the forest. It's in the elephant is in the forest. But everybody has their own language. Everybody has their own structure. Everybody have their ways of doing things. We're just talking about animals, not to talk of human beings that can reason. If I don't speak the same language with you, and I don't have the same culture with you, and we don't eat the same type of food, we can only assimilate willingly. We can only work together willingly. We're not the same people. Ogoni people are Ogoni people, and they are proud Ogoni people. When Ken Saro-Wiwa was doing the Ogoni struggle, he did Ogoni. It is called the movement of the survival of Ogoni people. When Urobo people wrote Bill of Rights, the Urobo people Bill of Rights, they didn't write Niger Delta Bill of Rights. They didn't write their state Bill of Rights. They wrote Urobo. Even Egi in River State have Egi Bill of Rights. Ikwere, everybody have their own desires, but they are in the same state, and that is okay. But we should not allow the mentality that we have, our people have had to accept, because I refuse to accept it. That's why I'm always on the other side of the discourse and of the argument. I am Ijo. I am Kalabari. I am from, even within Kalabari, I'm not from Tombia, for instance. But Tombia and Abonima are the same. But they are not the same in the sense that I am from Abonima, a Tombia man is from Tombia. We speak the same language. We have the same culture. We reason alike the same way. But we're not the same people. One man is Tombia, the other one is Abonima. But in terms of ethnic nationality, we're the same ethnic nationalities. So when we leave the realities that will establish our rights and move into something completely different, whatever we're getting today in Nigeria, it is because we allow it. It is because we accept it. Look, the West is Yoruba people. The North has other ethnic nationalities within them. What is identified as the North today, it can change tomorrow. The same in the East. When there was Eastern region, everybody was not Igbo. Everybody was not Ogoni. Ogoni people were in Eastern region. Ijo people, Ikwere people, Efik people, Ibibio people. All of us were in Eastern region. And I'm even saying now that that was even an injustice that was done to us. You cannot create a country, and then after creating the country, you now ignore the southern part of that country and added it to another part, and therefore meaning that the South did not exist. Because when you refuse to recognize all other ethnic nationalities within that geographical area and recognize only one and put the others under that one, that is nothing short of racism. So in Nigeria today, just because that everybody is Nigerian does not mean that racism does not exist. Racism exists in Nigeria, and we are suffering the effects of racism. Killing Christians is a form of racism. Wanting to take over the land of people is a form of racism. When are we going to wake up and face the reality? Who is federal government? You must ask yourself this question. Federal government is anybody, any government that is in power. That is federal government. But right now in Nigeria, federal government have become a personality, a breathing, eating human being personality. This is wrong.